Welcome to another episode of BioNTX Presents, Inside Innovation, where we explore the people, partnerships, and ideas shaping the future of biotechnology, healthcare, and innovation across North Texas. Today's conversation is especially meaningful. Over the past year, we've expanded our communications platforms, launched this podcast, strengthened strategic partnerships, introduced new opportunities for member engagement, and continued positioning North Texas as the nation's fastest growing life science ecosystem. Today represents another important milestone. I am so excited to welcome our new Chief Executive Officer of BioNTX, Gina Ford. This conversation is more than an introduction, though. It marks the beginning of a new chapter for our organization and provides an opportunity to explore Gina's vision for BioNTX, discuss where our industry is headed, and preview many of the themes you'll hear at this year's IC3 Life Science and Healthcare Innovation Summit. Join me in welcoming Gina to Inside Innovation. Gina, good to have you.
Thanks, Eric. This is so fun to be here.
Been looking forward to this for a while.
It's been some months, but in actuality, hadn't been that long. So bear with me as we.
God, it seems like you've been here for 10 years
right?
already. In a good way.
In a good way.
In a good way. In a good way. So we're going to jump right in. So with that, I'm going to set the stage, okay? Because it's all about setting the right stage.
Yeah.
Before we talk about your career, I'd like to begin this episode a little differently. This conversation is the first opportunity for many outside of our members and sponsors and others that you've reached out to, but the broader innovation community to hear directly from you as CEO. This serves as the opening chapter of your leadership of BioNTX. So think about it in those terms, the opening chapter. Mm-hmm. So imagine we're in a time machine and we're looking back from 5 years in the future. When people look back on this conversation, what do you hope, Gina, that they'll hear as the defining vision that shaped your leadership? Again, we're in the future,
Sure.
Looking back.
Wow. That's a great question. And it's very relevant to some of the conversations I'm having where people are saying, where are we going? What are we doing, Gina? You can feel the energy and excitement. And I keep saying all these things, but I can't do it in the next 2 weeks. Or I get the grace from whoever I'm talking to, hey, we know this is not going to all be done in 2 weeks. But your question is very relevant to say, if we could see all this happen and look back 5 years from now, or where we are in 5 years and say, Gina proposed a strategy, Gina and Eric got together and said, let's think about this. Let's build a power plant, Eric. Because the energy's here, right?
Yeah, I agree.
The energy's here. The energy's right at the surface or beneath the surface. What's missing is, the pillars and the wires. So what I think is going to happen in the next, 18 months to 3 years is BioNTX will be very visible, leading the energy that's here and focusing that energy on where it needs to travel through our power grid, identifying new companies that need to plug into our power grid in order to see our companies grow. But at the end of the day, Eric, you and I leading BioNTX, we're just the operators. We're just making sure the energy goes. Harnessing where it's needed. Nobody debates that a power grid is needed. Nobody debates that there should be lights on in biolabs. There's just lights on. So over the course of the next 2 to 3 years, there's going to be a lot of conversation about what we do and how we do it and when we do it, because we need to make these connections. We need to build the wires so that the lights are just on.
I love it. So to maybe summarize that, in 5 years we'll look back and we'll be able to see North Texas from the moon. because it'll be well lit, right?
Yeah, be well lit. That's great. I love that.
I love your analogy. One of the things, Gina, that I admire so much about you, and we've had a chance to really sharpen our relationship, and I'm grateful for that, is that you're a great listener. And one of the things that you said to me when you first joined is that your emphasis initially and throughout your tenure will be listening first and building upon an already existing strong foundation.
That's
and we,
right.
and we have to give credence that this is a really, really strong foundation that we're standing on. Our job, I think, and your job as leader is to take it to that next level and illuminate it, as you mentioned. So as you think about leading North Texas into this next chapter,
Yeah.
what principles, we talked about vision earlier, but what principles will guide the decisions that you make as CEO?
For sure. I am so grateful to the heritage that exists in BioNTX as an organization. It really does make my opportunity as the CEO right now, working with you and working with this ecosystem, a lot easier. We're very grateful to the heritage. I think where we go from this foundation, though, is again putting an operating system in place, making it very clear, just like our member companies that are building policies and procedures. That sounds very intense for as many startup companies as we have, but at some point in time, you've got to build an operating system for how you want to achieve your goals. And we're going to put that on 4 pillars. That's going to be our operating system. Innovation, we know that's where our heritage is as an organization. We know that's where the energy is, right at the surface, below the surface for a long, long time. Next, into value creation. What are we going to do to help companies ask the question, if I do this, what will it change? More science. If I do a regulatory survey, what will it change? If I do go participate in one-on-one partnering with investors, what will it change? That changes the shape of a company. But we're not just doing that for one company, Eric. We've got to prepare a number of companies. I just did a project through our database looking at the number of CEOs that are engaged with us.
Yes.
There's over 200.
I know.
There's over 200, right? So when we think about what they know, where they are, and we position them along this operating system, those CEOs right now that are having to debate internally, I've got this much cash. Do I do a regulatory assessment? Do I do a market access assessment? Do I do all these things? We should be the guiding organization that helps them understand where that decision making can happen. Because decision making is the whole key to deciding when assets become molecules, become therapies, become commercial ready. So innovation, value creation, commercial ready. A lot of people here in North Texas, company organizations that really understand if these companies aren't commercial ready, we're going to lose momentum.
Agreed.
But I think what BioNTX needs to do on this pillar of commercial readiness is enduring. It's load bearing. In our power grid that we're building, we need the load bearing walls, poles to say this is enduring. We're going to have commercial readiness constantly.
Yes.
We're grateful to the universities, we're grateful to the accelerators, we're grateful to all these things that are making these things happen, but we're not a cohort. We're not a university. We're not a class. We are an organization that should have availability to answer these questions and programs and expertise and all that we offer. It's just here. It just exists. It's not a matter of, do I qualify? Can I get into that program? We're not a cohort. We're not a problem. We're not a program. We're here to say that endures. Once that's enduring, then we've got companies that are scaling. They're already scaling without us. We're grateful to those companies. We're going to bring them back and say, help teach those that are behind you how to scale as well. So that's how we'll operate for the foreseeable future, the next 12 to 18 months, really categorizing where that is. Now that we know where you are, what do you need?
Yes.
It's not me just saying, I think I know what you need. We need to go back and listen to our members, our sponsors, our partners. Now that we know this, now we have a direction. Where do we go from here?
I love that, Gina, because, I love your operating system analogy, because a certain component of an operating system is predictability, right? Predictability anchored in a vision and a specific tempo and a specific context. And so I love that. And I think as you and I have talked, that analogy is new and fresh for us as an organization, and one of the reasons why I'm so excited about the future. I'm going to take a small shift here.
Yep.
And we've talked a little bit about leadership. We've talked about your vision, principles, and all of those things. Now I want to go a little bit about your journey, your personal journey. You bring a wonderfully dynamic set of skills, set of experiences, package of enthusiasm and courage to the movement, to our ecosystem. So tell us a little bit about your professional journey.
Sure.
And what ultimately led you to BioNTX.
Wow. What led me is I had to be here. But let me back up and explain why I had to be here.
Context matters.
Context matters. I am a pharmacist by education. That's what I thought I would be. I love people. And what I felt like by gaining a pharmacy degree is that I could really, really serve people who didn't feel good. It's a whole different place if you are a person on this planet trying to live your life if you don't feel good.
Mm-hmm.
And you
Agreed.
need people that empathize with that. So that's where I started. I kind of continued my journey into really thinking about meeting individual patient needs for those that were in hospice care, pain management, again, really focused on how can I help patients in a different area of their life. I think what really, that's my core, Eric, is I just really care about people, and I know people in this world are sick and don't feel good.
Yeah.
And I feel compelled to say, if I have the power, how can I help get things to them that can make them feel better? Mm-hmm. That ultimately led me to pharma. So I started living here in Dallas. I bought a home in 2005, thought that this was going to be forever. I was born and raised in Texas. This is where I'm going to be. This is where I'm going to start my family, my career. Yeah. Really leading teams of people who in pharma were managing very sophisticated injectable drugs mm-hmm. that physicians purchased and then had to get reimbursed by healthcare. It's called market access today. I had teams of people that were pretty good at it, really making sure that patients got access, mm-hmm. physicians ordered the medication, they got reimbursed back. It's a money flow along with the patient treatment.
Yes, yes.
In doing that and really finding a joy of working with people all across the country, started getting the call from different areas of the country, hey, come join us. I'm like, no, I'm in Dallas. Don't move me. Don't move me. I'm 3 hours wherever I need to be. Don't move me. But it was, I had to make a choice in 2007 when the market is shifting, market's changing, people could see if your aspirations are leading you further in your career, you have to make a choice. And I made a choice to go to Northern California. Continued to explore market access, joined a multinational company that had never commercialized a product in the U.S., taught them about what all that means mm-hmm. from sales team, insurance companies, really the entire U.S. landscape. So I knew the front end of delivering pharmaceuticals, sales, market access, reimbursement, mm-hmm. marketing, like how do we get these medications to be consumed in consumer language. It wasn't until at some point when I was leading a franchise that my bosses came to me and said, hey, your product's going to expire in about 3 years. What are you doing about it? I'm like, I'm not doing anything about it. I'm just waiting on you to give me something else. We're going to sell the crap out of that. Yeah. Hello, BioNTX. But I had to take a whole different view of our industry and really look into clinical development, further into molecule development. Where does this all start in a laboratory to say, eventually, we know a company who's working in endocrinology space that's going to need this product, and I hope to be there someday. So I was on the industry side of this looking for products at that point in time that I could put in the bag of a sales team mm-hmm. to go and continue, our $160 million franchise. Yes. Well, that part of the business I fell in love with. I absolutely fell in love with the science at the bench and what they were creating and what that meant because I had a view of the commercial world. So the last 10 years of my career really were spent in pharmaceuticals on portfolio strategy, asset management, just like you and I, in a lab, saying, okay, I know you're developing this molecule for this.
Yes.
Let's talk about it. Have you done a market assessment? Have you understood, like, this can't be a 3 times a day oral. Really, really understanding the science behind development, only to go the next day to the CFO's office and say, hey, I just sat down with this program team and they need $10 million to advance this forward. Is there's a trade-off, right, of
agreed.
what you
Always.
advance in science and what
Always.
you can, as a company and a corporation in our industry, what you can choose to advance. And do you have the money for it? Do you delay it? Do you go look for a partner, and when? And that's ultimately what I did, was looking at a set of assets. Do we keep it? If we do, how do I find the money to move it in my own organization? If we can't keep it, if there's somebody better suited to advance it, how can we maximize the value of that asset that we're going to get rid of? I've seen it all.
Yeah.
I've done it all.
Yeah.
I've had failures and trips along the way. I've had successes along the way. But
Yeah.
when I looked at what BioNTX is trying to do, and North Texas as a region, my gosh, I'm supposed to be here, and I'm supposed to say, don't make that mistake. Or as a collection of companies, let's leapfrog that faster because we don't have to make that mistake. Or let's take this path instead. So it's just compelled to do this because of the history that I've had to do this for multiple companies, not one company at a time.
I love it. To our audience, now you can see why we're so excited about having Gina be a part of this journey, but more so at this particular time. You said something, Gina, and this has been a common theme in a lot of our podcasts. And I've interviewed Gabby from BioLabs. Yep. We've interviewed, Matt and Lily at Lyda Hill and others, Milton at DFW Airport, our sponsors or friends at the Brand Institute. And the common theme is it's about purpose, right? Yep. And each conversation reveals a certain purpose that is a part of the person that I'm having an opportunity to have a conversation with. And you said feel good. And I can sense that even in your CEO role, you ultimately want to do things that allow people, whether they're early stage founders or what have you, to feel good about the space that we're in and the things that we're producing. And it brings me back to one of the initial reasons that I learned a long time ago for Lyda Hill's Catalyst involvement. She simply wanted to improve the health outcomes of people, right? And so we can have lofty conversations about a variety of things, but it all boils down to how can we be of help and support to other people.
Yep.
And so I love that, and thank you for sharing that. So let me add something to this, Gina. Leadership often comes down to recognizing opportunity. What did you see here at this moment that made you believe that this was the right moment for you?
Yep. Energy.
Yeah.
Energy. The energy's already here.
Yeah.
And Texas has its own history and energy, right? And
pun intended.
Pun intended, right? Pun intended. Both energy under the ground,
exactly.
But crude under the ground that can't be mobilized is nothing, right?
Yeah.
It's just
potential.
It's just potential under the ground. The same thing with, wind energy that we're now harnessing. That's what's happening in life sciences, and I just want to be a part of that with BioNTX and the enthusiasm that we have around this organization to take the energy that exists at Pegasus, at BioLabs, Tech Fort Worth, UNT, Denton. Oh my gosh, the conversations I've had with Tyler and Texas Tech.
Oh my God, Tyler.
So Tyler and Texas Tech are in our ecosystem.
Yeah.
And what we can do to build the energy between both of those organizations, because one has one thing and one has the other.
Yeah.
So in my whole life, I've always been a builder, right? You hand me a company that everything is smooth and running great, just operate it. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I do hard stuff. I don't think this is hard. I think it is just we have to build the wires. We have to build the connections. We're hearing that. I'm hearing that more often is I know where to be. So the next conversation is I don't know where to go. I don't know where to plug in. That's our responsibility, Eric. If we back off and don't do another program, it is how do we tell the story of if you are an innovator, if you are in the stage of value creation, if you're trying to create commercial ready, where do you need to be and where do you need to plug in? We have to build those wires, connect those wires.
Let me say something. There's no backing off here because across from me is a former basketball point guard, and the gentleman right here speaking is a former football player. So we don't know anything other than pressing on, right? Pressing on. So thank you, Gina. Thank you for the thoughtfulness. And so let us transition to what I'd like to call the next chapter for BioNTX. And so we've built tremendous momentum over the past decade, and we talked about that a little bit earlier. As you begin your tenure, which has already begun, like I said, it feels like we've been at this a very, very long time, a good, very long time. As you continue your tenure, and as we think about building on that success, what have you been hearing from the market? I know you spent a lot of time listening. Just give us a few points on what have you been hearing?
Sure.
And maybe some common themes.
Yeah. There is, we've already talked about enthusiasm. But when I ask the question, why? Like, why are you enthusiastic? I had to learn my questioning of my one-on-ones I would talk to would just kind of be like, I want this, or I'm so excited, but why? The why now is because the capital structure in the area of life sciences that's been stuck. There's no other way to say it in the last 2 to 3 years has just been stuck. There is a lot of momentum around capital and where capital is coming from. Are there concerns? Yes, I think there's still concerns around AI is certainly has the potential to speed up drug discovery, but how do we make sure there is still, the researcher involved and why the science is important anyway, because that then makes it very important to when we go to inhuman type of testing, which can't be done by AI currently. But furthermore, it's just that there is so much care and concern about what's happening in our region. Is, Gina, how do we get other people to see it?
Yeah, agreed.
How do we get other people to see it?
Yeah.
And that's part of what we're doing here today.
And understand it.
Yeah.
And understand how it fits into the greater scheme of things.
Absolutely.
Right. Awesome. So the future is bright. The future is bright. So now I'll transition, and this is something that you and I have discussed in a variety of settings. And I tell you, it's nothing greater, Gina, than being in high-level meetings and talking to other CEOs and being at the table with you. And we share this desire. And so this section is really BioNTX, BioNorth Texas, as a strategic asset, right? Which is something that is extremely important, I think, as a building block for the future. You and I both come from strategic backgrounds, and we understand that it's a two-way street as we're engaging partners, as we're engaging sponsors, as we're engaging others that want to be involved. It's not so much as of what we are gaining, it's more so about what they are gaining and how they see us as an organization and how they see the value proposition of being involved with us. So that leads me through one of the themes that's emerged throughout our conversations, again, has been that BioNorth Texas is much more than an organization that hosts events or serves members. That's great, right? But there's another level to that, right? There's another level to the events and the servicing of members and others. Increasingly, we're positioning BioNorth Texas as this strategic asset for the entire North Texas innovation ecosystem. And that leads me to this question. When you hear the phrase BioNTX as a strategic asset, BioNTX as a strategic asset, what does that mean to you?
We are the infrastructure for this life science community of North Texas. We may have opportunities to put people in the room, but when we put people in the room, it's because we're either, again, listening, give us the information we need so that we can act upon it, tell us where you need to go next so we can build that. BioNTX is not static.
Yes.
And I think that is it makes communicating this really fun and challenging because we are an organization. But what our care and concern about is North Texas and the life science industry. So anything that we do as an organization should have movement, should have have momentum, should have outcomes, should have impact. So rather than just thinking about us as a player, we may be a player at some times. We may be a leader other times. We may be the one engaging in very strategic partnerships. We're the operator of this ecosystem by building connections. We are not put people in a room just to have a conversation. It's part of it.
Yeah.
But our responsibility is to make sure the infrastructure, the connections, the energy is moving, and where more energy is needed, we have the ability to say, that needs to go there.
And what are the intended outcomes of putting people in that room, and how do those intended outcomes create value for our partners? Right? If a partner, and you used the term bridge earlier.
Yeah.
If a partner, say big bio company, an academic institution, an early stage company, an investor group, if they're trying to get somewhere, right, how do we become that bridge? And that bridge can include convening, it can include thought leadership, it can include a variety of things.
Sure.
And so what I'm hearing you say is being very intentional about the rooms that we create.
That's right.
With the objective of having specific outcomes that benefits those partners, but also benefits the ecosystem as a whole. Am I hearing that correctly?
That's right. That's right. It is, I've had the opportunity, I didn't talk about my role just previous to this, but I've had the opportunity to see the 13 best life science hubs in the country. We're going to call us, we're number 14, but only in number. Those ecosystems, let's say them out loud, the Boston, the San Diego, San Francisco, they are the ecosystems they are today is because they continued investing in themselves.
Yeah, agreed.
They kept putting money back into themselves. Now, we still need to bring some strategics closer to us. How close, right? Is Zoom and Teams close enough, or do we need some additional regulatory agencies? Do we need some more, just, again, adjacent supporting organizations to our pharmaceutical companies? But at the end of the day, it is making sure those companies that are here have the investment in people, in capital, in where they're going next. It is really, we have to make sure that we are taking care of what's here and putting more of it back in. That then starts attracting the outside world to say, wow, look what they're doing.
And I think another part of that, Gina, is BioNTX, BioNTX can be the prism for that. So when you talk about investing, and I'm just going to say this because I end every episode, if you're interested in getting involved as a sponsor, member, or what have you, it's an investment in the organization that is BioNTX as well. Because I think what our audience, and my hope is that our audience will take away from this, again, through engagements, through listening to this podcast, is that we're very well positioned to amplify those resources, to amplify those investments into BioNTX based on the objectives that we're articulating here and will continue to articulate.
You're absolutely right. This isn't going to happen by pure organic means. As much as I want to get us to the point where the power grid exists, all the wires are all the way to where they need to be, and we have the ability to push and pull where power needs to be at a certain point in time. Right now, we take our heritage, we build on those connections, and making sure that as we position ourselves through an operating system and start looking at our member companies, who else can benefit from the things that we offer today? What are the potential relationships that we build with sponsors and partners to fund this?
Yes.
It doesn't happen organically. It will need a funding mechanism. And I think our membership strategy is great. We have some amazing sponsors that are coming to IC3. We're creating more and more.
We can always use more.
We can always use more. We just got an amount of catalytic funding from Lyda Hill Philanthropies.
Yes, always great.
And we'll hope to build on that because the message is what's happened here organically is amazing. And there are pockets everywhere of energy that we need to tap that will cost money to build those connections. But right now, you and I are just doing it on guts and a playbook, and let's warm up and stretch our muscles because we're going to make it happen.
I get it. I have no doubt. 100%. Let me under the same topic, but this is also a shout out as well. Okay. This year we're launching a completely redesigned BioNTX website. And it's interesting that this new website comes with our new CEO. What a coincidence. What a coincidence. This website was created in partnership with our valued partner, Brand Institute. And they are our official branding and innovation partner, which is also a reflection of how we're going deeper with our partners. They have an official title based on their expertise. The website is more than just a digital refresh.
Right.
It reflects your and our commitment to elevating our members, telling the stories of innovation happening across North Texas, and creating a platform that better connects the power grid, companies, institutions, investors, researchers, and entrepreneurs. And we've talked about this. How important is storytelling, strategic communications, and brand positioning in strengthening this innovation ecosystem? And you've talked about it a little bit, but really the storytelling, right? Really the storytelling.
It's so important. I've worked with a lot of scientific founders. The innovator that has now, raised the money we're trying to commercialize. And a common thing I've heard is, we're going to make our own mistakes. I would propose that we don't do that. And that I think is where storytelling comes in and where we're responsible to those stories, to telling those case studies and making sure people understand that it's okay to scrape your knees a little bit. It helps you learn.
It's part of the story.
But here's a case study where something was headed in this direction, and it was transformed at the right moment, at the right time, because all the pieces came together. That's really what I hope to do. I mean, you talk about this website. You and team started this long before I ever got here.
We knew you were coming.
Well, I think the revelation is the website is beautiful. We're so excited about it, and there's so much more to come. Is just like the way I see some things happening here in North Texas is it was built on a platform that doesn't allow for flexibility and adding pieces to it. And we want to put a career center on there. We want to build a store. I need some gear to start wearing. It wasn't built that way. And I think that, again, the time and the place that I showed up here is just an opportunity to say, we just need to upgrade that a little bit. And I think that, that lens and that eye to our organization, to the region, to things as simple as a website and what stories we should tell, is just the easy part.
I love it. And for our audience, if you hear a little noise in the background, we've got about 100 people at BioLabs learning how to be better scientists. So there's never a dull moment at BioLabs. Shout out to BioLabs for allowing us to host the podcast here, always. Thank you, Gabby. So we're going to shift a little bit. There's a small event coming up, I think, in September, a little tiny little gathering, not to be compared with a backyard gathering, but a little tiny gathering. IC3 as a platform for the future. This is our next segment. This year's IC3, Gina, will be your first as CEO. What excites you the most about this event?
Gosh. whew, just getting it done. No, I'm just kidding. It is a big, I feel it's a big responsibility. It's an honor and a pleasure to think about putting that together. But to continue sort of where I'm trying to frame this conversation is the capacity, the energy capacity that's going to be in those ballrooms, September 24th and 25th. That's really what I'm looking forward to. We're building an agenda. We're building a program that will be educational, informational, teach some things along the way. But the way I'm viewing IC3 this year is an opportunity for, 1,000 people to come together again and learn from each other, make those connections, those purposeful connections. We're reaching out. We're doing everything we can to pull together a one-on-one partnering in that event. It's never been done before.
I love that. Yeah.
All of our past Rising Star winners, all of our past Tech Transfer Showcase, we'll invite those companies from biolabs to really have an opportunity to talk 30 minutes, every 30 minutes talking to a different investor.
Yeah.
But again, the program and the opportunity to, buy space. Yeah, we're fortunate to do that, but we want to care more about what happens inside that space.
Yeah. You've been consistent with that. Matter of fact, you've been adamant about that. You've been adamant about that. They're just like, we don't need a stage. We just need the stuff that goes on in between this. No, I'm just kidding. We need the stage.
we
need the stage.
We'll have it.
So let me build on that, Gina. Let me build on that real briefly, and we'll close out this section. But let me make we need sponsors appeal right now. We do. One of the things that had always, and you touched on this, distinguished IC3, and you just returned from bio, and bio's big, right? Bio's big, right? And we love bio, the international conference in San Diego. But ours, not that it's fundamentally different, but one of the key things that we really hang our hat on is the relationships that began in the hallways.
Yeah.
Over coffee and through unexpected conversations. So why is creating those connections so important? And you talked about the one-on-one partnering and all of that, but just put a pin in that.
Sure.
Why is that so important? We talked about the big lofty things and all of that, but ultimately, why is this thing important, the one-on-one?
It's relationship. One of the conversations, as I keep talking about what we're going to be bringing along our operating system, conversation, information, education. This one-on-one partnering is the start of a conversation, the start of a relationship. Sometimes the sense I get from some of our innovator companies is, if I don't get a check, I'm done. I need a check from a venture capitalist right now. Well, it's just not kind of how the evolution of money from one bank account to an innovator's bank account happens. It starts with a relationship. And so my plea, once we have the companies that we know are going to come, my plea to our good investors to show up is start the conversation. Why is this science important? Why is this innovator doing it? What does this innovator's role want to be? Do they want to be the CEO? Is it the CEO that you would invest in? If it's not, how do you tell that innovator, hey, you're going to be a great scientist, build these people around you, and you're going to make a great company? So it's nothing different that IC3 has always done about having the conversation there, but these are very important relationship building conversations that we then, BioNTX, can say, hey, you haven't talked to this company in 6 months. Do you need an update on them? We can further that connection 3 months down the line, 6 months down the line. Hey, we know one of our tech transfer persons just got, IND from FDA. We're going to call those 4 investors that met with him and say, hey, you need to get back in touch with them. So we're starting a new level of relationship building with the investment community that we need to be here. We can't just expect that they're going to put checks on their first conversation. There's a relationship that we're going to build with them.
And it takes time. IC3 it's the catalyst event. Yeah. There's nothing more rewarding, Gina, when since we've been working together, and you've run across it maybe individually as well, and we've run across it together. when we encounter someone who went to a previous IC3 and they said, I met this company or I got this relationship
Right.
from an IC3 that happened 8 months ago.
Yep.
And then you learn that it has continued, right? And so that's very, very exciting. And we're just really looking forward to make sure you register. Make sure you register for the IC3 conference. And if you're interested in sponsorship, look at the link and the QR code at the end of the show. But we're very, very excited about it. The other thing is we've got some great partners.
Right.
Can you give us a little glimpse into maybe like one of the big topics that we'll be talking about at IC3? It's not public yet, but that's why people tune in to Inside Innovation. Can you just give us a little glimpse on maybe one topic that people should be looking out for?
Well, I have to cover the biggest topic that we're super excited about.
Wait, there's a big one. Is this breaking news?
It's going to be covered multiple ways. Everybody is. I wasn't here when the DPRIT vote happened to create an entirely another new government agency that would have the opportunity to provide funding to those companies who were researching dementia or dementia-related disorders. Mm-hmm. It's hung up. It's hung up in a court battle that has nothing to do with the spirit behind Texas contributing to success of companies developing in dementia-related disorders. But it's a big friction right now, and we've got a number of companies, and one of our really great partners right now, the Rainwater Foundation, who's been investing in this space for years, was holding some money because they want DPRIT to happen so that they can be the matching funds. We won't get into all the mechanics of that, but they wanted to be the matching funds in order to say, hey, company, not only are you getting 10 million, you're getting 20 million. You can exponentially move your technology forward. So we're going to try to solve that problem. We can't make DPRIT happen any faster, but we can break the logjam of the companies like Rainwater Foundation who wants to continue investing. Mm-hmm. What strategy should you take? What should you be looking at? We really believe that Alzheimer's Foundation is going to be there. Mm-hmm. Oddly enough, I now know for certain that the American Heart Association is also going to be there.
I didn't know that, Gina.
I know.
That's new news. Breaking news. Oh, awesome.
So we will spend a considerable amount of time looking at the potential of these companies from development, molecule development, into clinical, into investing strategy. We're going to spend a great amount of time on that on day 2. And we're pleased to do that at IC3 because September 25th, there are no other major conferences planned before the legislative session starts in January. Yeah. So
timing is good.
The best answers that we can elucidate on September 25th regarding companies, how they should be structuring their companies, what they should be studying, where their research should be headed, and the investment thesis we're going to cover on September 25th.
That's very exciting. And thank you for sharing that, Gina. I know it's been quite a lift. There's a lot of variables that we can't control, but we're grateful to have an anchor partner to help guide us through that. We're grateful to have IC3 as a foundation, as an event, as a gathering to help talk about those critical issues, and we're grateful for the state of Texas leading in this space. Very grateful for that. So this is our last segment, Gina. This is like one of our internal strategy meetings that our audience gets a chance to listen in on. So looking ahead, okay. And I've just got a couple of questions here, and these will be some of the closing comments. What's one message you'd like every member, sponsor, partner, entrepreneur, researcher, and future innovator to hear as we begin this next chapter? And I know that's a difficult question because there's so many different audiences here, but if you had an overarching message, what would you like for them to hear?
BioNTX is the infrastructure that turns North Texas science into companies, jobs, and cures. That's the reason an idea can be born here and scale here.
I love it. I love it. Gina Ford, so proud to have you as our CEO. North Texas is very fortunate to have you leading the charge, and we're excited. We're excited. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, Eric, this was so fun. We got so serious. I don't know why I get so serious when I do podcasts.
Because it's on TV.
You and
It's
I
on
have
TV.
such. I mean, we do. We'll throw some bloopers in there for you, but we do have a great time. It's an honor and a privilege to work with you. I think what we are talking about is so challenging because we don't have walls even as our own organization. We are all over this North Texas area, from Tyler to Dallas to Fort Worth to Plano to Frisco to Lubbock. We're all over. And so taking what we know is real and describing that as a real thing is a challenge to you. You're doing a great job with it. I appreciate your partnership and helping people understand that we have an amazing heritage and where we've been for the last 10 years, but we are going to build something great. We're going to move energy. That last mile, to me, discovery to patient, and that's where we're gonna make sure that all the wires are built. I didn't let you finish. You finish.
Oh, I'm done. Thank you for tuning in. Gina, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your vision for BioNTX and the future of innovation in North Texas. What stands out from our conversation is the deep commitment to building upon an already strong foundation while creating opportunities for collaboration, visibility, and impact. As BioNTX continues to evolve, it's clear that the future will be defined not only by scientific discovery, but by partnerships that transform ideas into real-world solutions. As we prepare for this year's IC3 Life Science and Healthcare Innovation Summit and the launch of our new website, we invite our members, sponsors, partners, and the broader innovation community to join us as we write this next chapter. If today's conversation has inspired you to become part of this growing ecosystem, you'll see a QR code on the screen. Whether you're interested in becoming a BioNTX member, registering to attend the IC3 Summit, or exploring sponsorship opportunities, simply scan the code to learn more and get involved. Thank you for listening to BioNTX Presents Inside Innovation. I am Eric B. Moore. Be well.